Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today I'm excited to say that Battlefield Hardline is going to be receiving a patch update in the near future. You guys have probably noticed that the weapon balance in this game needs some significant improvement, and a good thing is that Visceral would also agree. And so the first thing that has me thrilled is that the K10 is going to be getting nerfed. The K10 is pretty awesome right now, arguably overpowered, and so what they're going to be doing is that instead of requiring only 3 bullets to drop someone within close encounter combat, or about 8 meters away, they're going to bump it up to 4. And so instead of doing 34 damage per bullet up close, they're going to be dropping it down to 33. It's still gonna be a powerhouse SMG, like don't get the wrong picture here. This is still gonna be a phenomenal weapon for the mechanic class, but it's now gonna require a little bit more diligence on the part of the player to secure multiple kills back to back. One extra round, especially with that high RPM, basically ensures that you're gonna need to be more conservative with your ammunition and be slightly more accurate if you wanna go on a kill streak with killing maybe 2 or 3 people without having to reload. Overall, though, I think that this is a great step in the right direction. They're not taking a chainsaw to its stats. They're making a small, subtle change that will hopefully allow us to identify if that was appropriate or if they should take it a step further and make maybe a little few tweaks here and there. One change that I was really happy to see is that they're also going to be making the battle rifle's minimum damage increase to 25 across the board. This basically solidifies the battle rifles at being amazing at a distance. This now means that if you are using any of the enforcer weapons, of course except for the shotguns, at all distances, you're going to be able to drop your enemy with either 3 or 4 bullets. That is very consistent. While you're still going to have to deal with a substantial amount of recoil, that is always going to be a part of the battle rifles that you have to work around, that subtle difference is going to make these weapons in general way more appealing on the battlefield. One thing that took me by surprise is that Visceral is going to be nerfing the damage of the AKM at a distance, and so instead of doing 25 damage at around 50 meters, they're now bumping that down to 24. This is a fairly significant nerf to the AKM, going from requiring only 4 bullets to drop someone at 50 meters and out, now to 5. That's nothing to laugh about. And while I don't think in the grand scheme of things this is going to have too much of an impact on most AKM users out there, because this is a weapon that is more meant for medium range combat, if you are someone who likes to use this rifle, it is now going to be slightly more challenging to drop people at those extreme distances. They are also thinking about increasing the damage of the FMG9 and the M45 and also making them more effective at a distance and not having their damage drop off as significantly or as quickly as it does right now. This would be a welcome change, because I know for a fact that the M45 is terrible right now. At least in its current state, it just doesn't make any sense. I made a video about it recently, and I cannot justify why anyone would want to use this on the battlefield. I should mention that these patch notes don't appear to be 100% set in stone right now. This is stuff that they're considering. This is their first draft, their rough draft on what they're thinking about doing with these weapons. And so if you think a weapon should be on this patch list, either to be buffed or nerfed, give them your feedback. It seems like they also want your feedback. Personally, I was very surprised to not see the M16A3 or the M416 on these patch notes, because right now there is really no other reason to use the other weapons for the operator class. To give an example of how weird the weapon balance is for this kit, if you compare the L85 to the M16A3, the M16 has a faster rounds per minute, it has a faster bullet velocity, it does more damage, it reloads faster, and you could argue that they have relatively the same recoil. There is absolutely no reason to use the L85 in Battlefield Hardline. This is true for a lot of the other weapons because they just simply cannot compete with the M16 and the M416. The AKS, the CAR, the G36C, they're all fun weapons to use, but simply because they can't stack up to these 2 particular weapons, they fall by the wayside and you hardly ever see them on the battlefield. And so what I'm thinking that needs to be done is either just increase the power of all of the other weapons in the operator class. That would be one way to tackle this issue. or just have the damage drop off of these two weapons happen faster. I'm not sure if you're aware, this is absurd. I can't believe that this is actually in the game. The M16 and the M416, they do 28 damage all the way out until 40 meters. This means that 40 meters and closer, you kill your enemy in 4 bullets. You compare that to all of the other guns, their damage drops off at like 25 meters. It really doesn't make any sense. If it doesn't make any sense to you, you are not alone. I have no idea why Visceral decided to balance the weapons out like they did, because it basically solidifies these two weapons as being some of the best in the game. And so I think if they just put it in line with the damage of all of the other assault rifles, that would be a great step in the right direction. They may have to make some other small tweaks here and there, but it would finally put them more on a level playing field, and they wouldn't be the dominant force on the battlefield where everyone is running around with them, because they feel like that is required if they want to be successful. But overall, I would say that these patch notes are looking good. I'm just happy that Visceral realizes that there are some problems here and that they are going to be taking the necessary steps to try to balance things out. But let me know what you think about these changes. Are you excited that the K10 is getting nerfed? Are there a few other weapons that you think either need to be buffed or nerfed in Hardline? Let me know down below. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and so until tomorrow, have a good one, and take it easy.